The gentle April rain that stained the window panes last night is all but gone, but lingers on in scented clouds of air. We watch the town awaken to the trembling morning light. You're so near and spring is everywhere. We danced until the stars came out and spread across the sky. The wee small hours of morning all went by and day is here. We won't give up our dancing, and across the floor we fly. When you are near, spring is in the air. I hold you so close, I think you must hear my heart tingle. We're hand in hand, cheek to cheek, and floating in midair. When you are near, spring is everywhere. So close, I think you must feel my heart tremble. We're hand in hand, cheek to cheek, we're floating in midair. When you are near, spring is everywhere. We dance until the sun is down and stars are in your eyes. Spring is here, I feel it everywhere. You're so near and love is in the air. The gentle April rain that stained the window panes last night is all but gone, but lingers on in scented clouds of air. We watch the town awaken to the...
All right, welcome in on this Saturday, no, Friday, no, Sunday in February. It is February the 11th, and the finals are upon us. Welcome in, everyone. Laptophound here on a Sunday, getting ready for the big game. Are you? Are you getting ready for the big game? Not as big of a deal up here in Canada. Still a big deal. Still a lot of Canadians watch it, but I've kind of stopped watching it over the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so. I don't get into it as much. Just too many commercials, too many pauses, too many just get it over with, get the game over with. I'm not big for the commercials or the halftime show or anything like that. But many of you are. Welcome in. Zero Silence Minerva, so close to getting to the finals. We almost had a teacher versus student matchup here in the final, but you made it to the Final Four, and yeah, we got to check in on some of those new cards. Apparently the Floyd Bannister is pretty good in this tournament. Well, the form is pinned in the chat, or it should be. Let me pin it right here. unable to pin. Well, how about now? Unable to pin. Well, how about now? Can I pin it now? Are you going to let me pin it now? There we go. Yeah. It is pinned. So your chance to win 5 packs, your name, if you do win, will go out with the winners tomorrow. So you won't get them in the near future, but you will get them if you win. So fill the form out, predict the winner. Here is your game 1 result already in the books. We got the Alexandria Dukes losing to the Scotia Scooties. Oh, I'm going to have fun saying that one today. The Scotia Scooties up against the Alexandria Dukes. So again, we'll recap the tournament. We'll look how these final 2 teams got here. We'll take a look at the rosters. We will watch each game as they come in. But you only have about 4 more minutes before I close off the form because you don't get to peek at game 2. You only get a little teaser from game 1. So again, fill the form out, Survivor style, and the more questions you get right as we work our way through it, then the better chance you have to win. Ooh, what a final! What a final! What a day! A lot of new cards are now in the tournament. More cards coming on Tuesday with the next treasure trove. PTMS coming up next Saturday. More details on that. Sporer will announce in his Tuesday's treasure trove. So yeah, even though, the game for this version is winding down a little bit, there's still a lot of exciting things to come. And talk about exciting. Talk about exciting. Wait till my show tomorrow where I get to talk about some other exciting news coming up later next week. So, yeah, cycle winding down, but still lots of OOTP to play. Dishnet will be up with the World Series probably, I'm guessing, in about an hour. The Perfect Team World Series typically starts around 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. It all depends on whether there's sweeps in different rounds of the playoffs to speed things up. If things tend to go 7 games for each series, then the games start a little bit later. But yeah, he should be up with your OOTP drops within the next hour or so. So again, you got 2 more minutes to fill out the form. If you're in the chat, like Dark Horse, re-upping the sub, Dark Horse _414. Thank you. Not sure what the 414. I know what 404 refers to, but 414, is that like some sort of CB call sign? Like, hey, good buddy, you got the 414 on the traffic on the I-5. I don't know. I don't know what the 414 refers to, but maybe it's a book reference, a literary reference, a movie reference, or maybe you were just born on April the 14th, which would make sense. 414. It could be many things. I just hope it's not, a PIN number. 0414. Access my bank account now. No one would be silly enough to do that. It's like having a password, spell password. Yeah, it's that kind of day. Sunday, got the coffee going. And again, this is the 11th of February. It's my 11th day in a row of broadcasting the finals. Usually on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll do it on Twitch. And usually Monday to Thursday, I will do it on YouTube. But it may alter from time to time. The Milwaukee area code. Okay. Well, then I would be Laptophound _403. Yeah. Because that's, we have 2 area codes in Alberta. Because as the population grows, they run out of phone numbers, so they have to create a second one, I guess. So we have like a northern area code and a southern area code. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Green Bay Packers. Cheese. That's about all I know. But yeah, that's one of the states I wouldn't mind going to. Is Milwaukee a cool place to visit? Is it like a touristy place? Or the things to do there other than the usual Green Bay kind of stuff? All right, we got a few seconds. I'm going to close off the forum. We're going to exit out of here. We're going to get into game 2. Laptophound here on a Sunday. I hope you got your nachos and your beverage of choice all ready to go for the game. I'm going Kansas City is going to win it by 3 on a late touchdown by Travis Kelce. Taylor Swift is going to run on the field. They're going to hug. The cameras will be all over them. It's going to be a TMZ moment. It's going to be some sort of Hollywood ending for the Super Bowl. Or maybe it's going to be a 10-yard run by Patrick Mahomes. I just think the energy, the vibe is definitely around Kansas City, even though San Fran has a pretty high-powered offense. I think it's going to be a close game, and it's going to go right down to the final few minutes. Those are always the best games anyway. Okay, the form is getting closed off in 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And you got a good chance. You got a 25% chance of winning today because, again, people are busy. There's other streams going on. The big game is coming up. So, yeah, I don't expect many entries today. So you have a 1 in 4 chance between Wolfman Angelo Glorioso, Steak Fan, and 04 Monster. We got 3 going for the Scooties, who already have a 1-game lead. And everyone, all of you predicting it's going to go 6, going with a safe 6. That's kind of a psychological thing, I think, because that's what I would do too. You're gonna go, it's not going to go 7 games, but it's not going to be over early. I'm going to go with the safe bet of 6. There's got to be some psychological study about that. Total runs in the final game, many have between 9 and 12, and home runs in the series, we have anywhere from 6 home runs to 22, and total strikeouts in the final game, anywhere from 9 to 18. Okay. I think let me just create my sheet now. Should be easy to find the winner once we're done. And again, if you do win, it'll go with my list that I send out after my Monday stream. So tune in tomorrow for some exciting out of the park baseball news about 2 or 3 events coming up later next week. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Here we go. Not muted. Game number 2 is in. You would have went with you would have joined the majority. It would have been unanimous. Another vote would have been for the Dukes in 6, even though they lost game 1. All right, game 2 is in. Let's go check out the result. And this one is a Scootie game 2 victory. So those of you that predicted Alexandria in 6, you must be thinking they're going to win the next 4 in a row. Let's go take a look at our box score. Scooties score 2 to take the lead in the second inning. Alexandria will take a 3-2 lead after 3, and then the Scooties will score the final 2 runs of the game in the bottom of the 5th inning, and that will be all they need to take the victory. Winning pitcher, his first victory of the tournament, and what a time to have your first victory in the finals, a 58 live Bryce Miller from the Seattle Mariners. Not a guy I would normally take, although if you're short of pitchers and you're in the last couple of rounds, he's got, fairly good control, he's not horrible. He has enough there to get the job done and occasionally have a good game. Gave up 3 earned runs in 7 innings. Again, he's not a Giolito, a Cliff Lee, a Dontrell Willis. He is a Mr. Bryce Miller. And that goes with Milwaukee and beer. It's Miller time in game 2. I don't know. Is the Miller Brewing Company in Milwaukee? Isn't every brewing company in Milwaukee? Chris Paddock, 63 rated, what is this, a bronze card? He will take the loss, his second loss of the tournament. Again, a much better profile than Bryce Miller, but he took the loss. 4 earned runs in 6 innings pitched for the Dukes. Player of the game will be Bryce Miller. And hit-wise for the winning Scotia Scooties, we had 2 hits from Benji Gill and 1 home run from Benji Gill, his 7th home run of the tournament. So if you're looking for an underrated catcher, shortstop, well, it's not a catcher, shortstop, second base, first baseman, here's a guy that has 7 home runs, 17 RBIs, and .7 WAR in the tournament so far. A little underrated guy that sometimes we ignore in the draft. For Alexandria in the loss, they get 2 hits from Ivan Calderon, who also has a couple RBIs. They get a couple hits from Bud Harrelson, and they'll get a home run from Calderon. Most people that play this tournament frequently say this is a must-have card. It's one of your top 10 hitting cards consistently. Will he have a bad tournament? Sure. Will he have a great tournament? Absolutely. In fact, he was MVP for the Dukes in the semifinals. Miller brews in other places too, but Milwaukee Miller Brewer is really close to American Family Field, quarter of a mile away. Yeah, Miller. I don't have much American beer. That was one I did drink of the American beer back in the day when I used to consume the odd beer beverage, and it was American. But Canadian beer is just so much stronger. It's got much more bite to it. So there you go. That is the Game 2 score. So Game 1, we didn't take a look at the box score. It was a runaway for the Scotia Scooties. They under Jack Quinn. Is it Jack? It is Jack Quinn. Jack Quinn with his 5th win in Game 1. And again, a pretty good card. Some might not draft it because of the pitcher BABIP, but if you've got high control in this era, it's definitely a plus. You don't want to take too many pitchers with low control. For me, number 1 is pitcher BABIP. Number 2 is control. Number 3 is stuff. And then number 4, home run suppression. Morgan Ensberg is your player of the game in the first game. And even though he's only hitting a paltry 115, he was player of the game. So we got a live iron card that won Game 2 as a pitcher. And we got this guy not hitting very well. He was player of the game in the first game. So some unexpected, unsung heroes coming up for the Scotia Scooties in these first couple of games. Let's take a quick peek at how the Scooties got to the finals. In round 1, I took on Ezra Denny's Starfleet Red Shirts. Look at my team first because it's easy to find. So Ezra Denny, I don't come across Ezra too much in this tournament, but this time we met in the first round, and he won the first 2 games, just like the Scooties did. And then I won the next 4. So it's not over by any means for Alexandria. Kevin Moss was the tournament round 1 MVP for the Gladiators. Then I went on to round 2 and I played the team that's in the finals. Don't you hate that when you lose early and then the team that beats you goes to the finals and you gave them a good run? It could have been you in the finals. The Dukes win Game 1 and 2. Rocky Mountain makes it close, winning Games 3 and 4. And then the Dukes take an 8-3 win and a 5-2 win. It wasn't really close. I did have a couple high-scoring games, but the Dukes easily handled me. And Evan Gaddis was the player of the round. So again, let's take a peek at those Scooties, Scotia Scooties. I don't see them in this tournament too much. The Scotia Scooties. This might be the first time I remember seeing their name. So now I got to find them. Always. Where are you, Scotia? And I always mention this because it's kind of cool. When you are in the final and you look back at your path to victory, they had to go to Game 7 in round 1. And not only go to Game 7, but they had to win Game 6, which they did, 4-3. And then they had to win game 7. And they scored the winning runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. So it was that close. It's a fine line between winning this and going out in the first round. So they have a 2-game lead right now in the finals, and they squeaked by round 1. In round 2, the Scooties would take on the Durham Bulls, and they would handle them easily, winning in 4 games. One game was close, 3-2 for the Scooties, and they scored, not much trouble with the Bulls. In round 3, the Scooties would take on the Beachport Blue Hornets by Fire-Nor. Fire-Nor, who again does exceptionally well in this tournament, lost in 5 to the Scooties. The Blue Hornets would only win the middle game. Going on to the quarterfinals, it would be the Scooties going up against the Chernobyl Stalkers, who made the finals early in February. And again, a pretty easy victory. So far, the Scooties have had an easy path to the final, other than that round 1 7-game series. In the semifinals, the Scooties would take on our good friend Don't Cut the D Block Dragon, and it would go back and forth. It was tied at 2, and then the Scooties would win 4-0 and 11-4 in game 6, and that would take them to the finals. So that is the path for the Scooties. 1 7-game series, 6-game series, a couple 4 1-game series, a sweep. So they haven't had too much trouble getting to the finals. Let's go out and check the results of game number 3. I would say game number 3 is the most pivotal game because either you're up 3-0 or you're letting your opponent back in. Brydav, what did you miss other than being down 2-0? Well, not much. It hasn't been going too well for you in the finals so far. But hey, you just need to win one. Just need to win the first game. And Brydav, thank you for eliminating me. You'll see here, Brydav eliminated me in 6 games in round 2. So worthy opponent. Let's go to game 3. I'm only going to do the highlights of an elimination game. So if a team is on the verge of being eliminated, then I'll go in and we'll watch the highlights. The Alexandria Dukes will win game number 3 by a score of 3-1. 16 hits for both teams, 1 error for the Scooties. And is that going to be enough for Brydav to get back in this? Going down 3-0 would have been devastating. Now there's some hope. Camilo Pascual is your player of the game. Strong game. Only his 2nd win of the tournament. He had 6 hits against him, only 1 earned run, striking out 5, walking 4. Not a guy I typically draft because of that low control. But obviously he's going to give you some good games where he lets up 1 run and other games where he lets up 5. I always find him a very inconsistent pitcher. And how about this? Bob Miller for a reliever. Bob Miller gets the save, his 8th save of the tournament. He has 2 wins, 8 saves. And you know what the most wonderful thing about Bob Miller is? He hasn't given up an earned run in the tournament. 14.2 innings pitched, and he has not given up an earned run yet. Way to go, Bob Miller. Great choice there, Brydav, to put him as your stopper, your closer. I'm going to have to keep an eye on him in drafts now because this is proof that he can do well in that role. For the Scooties, Wilson Alvarez takes his 2nd loss of the tournament, giving up only 2 runs, but he only pitched 4 innings with that low stamina. He's not going to give you a long game. And hit-wise for the Scooties, it was singles, 1 hit apiece for many players on the team. RBI only went to Brandon Phillips. Yeah, Brett Phillips. For the Dukes, 2 hits for Rosenthal, 2 hits for Billy Butler, 2 hits for Reggie Willits, home run for Ivan Calderon. Again, Brydav would agree, Minerva would agree, D-Block would agree. The 4 finalists would agree that if you see Calderon amongst your choices, don't pass up on him. He's typically not going to hit for over 300, but he's going to be consistent. Look at him. Hits in 4 of his 5 games. He's got a couple home runs, 13 RBIs. Yeah, he's one of the top 10 batters so far. Home run also by Billy Butler. His 8th home run of the tournament, hitting .298, one of the newer cards, the Billy Butler card. Great card. So there you go. Brydav's Dukes are back in it. Let's take a look at how Brydav got to the finals. What kind of adversity did he have to go through? We'll find out now. In round number 1, the Dukes would take on the Lord Christic Tacoma Rainiers. And we had some close games. 4-3 for the first one. 9-6, I guess, is kind of close. Evan Gattis is the round 1 MVP for the Dukes. So they would get a little bit of a breather. They'd get one kind of off day before going to round 2, where they would have to go up against this guy. It's the Rocky Mountain Gladiators. Eesh, who can't beat him? I'm like a round 2 tournament kind of guy. Yeah, 4-3 was the only close game. I did get 20 runs in 2 games against the Dukes, but they came back in game 5 and game 6. In round 3, the Dukes would take on the Central City Flash. Back and forth. Dukes win game 5, win game 6, and game 6 went extras. Wow. Flash would take a 1-run lead in the top of the 13th, and the Dukes would walk it off in the bottom, including a home run by Evan Gattis. Evan Gattis getting a home run in the bottom for the Dukes. So that was a much-needed win because that gave them some rest after an extra inning game. They didn't have to go 7, and they would move on to the quarterfinals where they would take on the Portland Llamas and Music Lessons. A guy that reminds me a lot of Minerva in his play recently. Both Minerva and the Dukes are sponges. They soak up what the community has to offer in terms of advice. They add their own little flair to things, and both have been very successful in not this tournament specifically, but in OOTP in general in the last month. So congratulations to the Llamas. You made it to the quarters, but Brydav took you out. The vet took out the rookie. The Dukes would then take on the other improved player, and that is Minerva. So we talked about Music Lessons, and now Brydav goes up against this other kind of hot rookie in the last month and would handle them 4-2. The Hearts would win game 1 and game 4 by 1-run scores, and the Dukes would take game number 6 4-3. So very close. Minerva, a couple runs away from taking it to game 7. Ivan Calderon, your player of the round for the Dukes. So that gets the Dukes and the Scooties in the finals. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, game number 4 will be in. See you in 2 minutes' time. right, we are back, and the big game is about to start. And so is the NFL. Yeah, the big game, game number 4, should be in the books. Before we get to game number 4, with the Scooties and a 2-1 lead over Brydav's Alexandria Dukes. Just a reminder that, again, Laptophound here streaming the finals. Yesterday, we had the Team Oklahoma Wildcat Bandits in the finals. They lost to the Wisconsin Winter. A couple days ago, we had GT Sundown and his Mile High Mayhem losing out to Warbot and Escape from New York. So my goal is to try and stream all the finals, and usually they only take about an hour and 15 minutes at the most. And just to give some love to the lower level cards, to all of you guys that play this tournament, because again, it's my favorite tournament in OOTP. And because of that, I am honored to give out some packs for the monthly winners. OOTP has allowed me to give out 20 packs to whoever has the highest overall point score for their finishes in the Laptop Daily. So right now it is all updated, and as of today, Warbot is currently leading with 9 points in February. Wildcat Bandit and GT Sundown have 7. We have the Wolves in 4th, and then everything below that. So to get at least 1 point, you need to get a top 4 finish. As long as you get a top 4 finish, your name will be put on the leaderboard here. And at the end of the month, the team with the most points will get 20 packs, plus 1 random winner in the top 4 will get 5 packs. So just something fun, just to kind of track the tournament, because there's so many tournaments in OOTP that kind of get lost, and you know, it makes it a little bit more personal if we can pay some attention to specific tournaments. PTCS gets love, as it should. The World Series gets love, as it should. But I like to give this one because they put it in for us to follow along on. All right, game 4 is in. And those of you that have the big game on, has the kickoff happened yet, or is it still pre-game kind of stuff? Has the anthem been sung, and the coin toss been done, and the kickoff done, and all the pre-game commercials all on? Well, Brydav was feeling a little bit nervous after game 2. But winning game 3, Brydav and the Dukes have now taken game 4 by a score of 5-0. 5-0. What a dominant performance by Mr. Jim Tobin. Now, I don't know, Brydav, is Jim Tobin a guy you, as soon as you see him amongst the choices, is this a guy that you go, okay, yeah, I take him? Because for me, it would be, just because of the profile for 1985. He's got the pitcher BABIP and control. Those are the 2 things I look for the most. He's got the stamina. And as you can see, he's gone 3-0 in the tournament. So he's not necessarily my top guy because he's an iron, but I have no problem if he was my number 3, 4, or 5 pitcher in the tournament. So curious if this is a guy that is always a must-have, or if he's kind of like, well, there's not much better. So I'll take Jim Tobin. He takes the win. Another really good iron pitcher is this John Means card. Many people had him in the PTCS in the iron level. He was 3-1, took his second loss. You can see gave up 5 earned runs, but ignore the last game, and he's pitched very well. So John Means takes the loss. Tobin takes the win. Your player of the game is Ivan Calderon. We talked about him early. 3 for 4, 2 runs, 2 home runs in the tournament. He's coming up big in the finals. He was also the MVP for the Dukes in their semifinal matchup against Minerva's team, the Skull Hearts, I think they were. So for the winning Alexandria Dukes, 3 hits by Calderon, couple hits by Gaddis, couple hits by Zeeks. I guess that's how you pronounce it. And for the losing Scotia, not much to celebrate. They had 4 hits and 2 players had 2 hits apiece. Perdomo, a live card, I believe. Yep. And the Ryan Sweeney had a couple hits. So we are locked up at 2. And in the prediction on the Google form that you guys filled up before I closed it off, all of you predicted it would go to 6 games. Some said the Duke, some said the Scooties, but all of you said it was going to end in 6. So whoever wins game 3, you're hoping that they probably win game 4. Yeah, I know. What's up with that? Sometimes the player of the game is really weird. He has a dominant performance, 4 hits, no earned runs. He had 4 walks. Mind you, you can't, I mean, if there's one guy that's going to take it from him, it's a guy that gets 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. So I don't really fault the game for giving it to Ivan Calderon because he did have a dominant game. I mean, if Calderon didn't have that game, definitely it's got to be Jim Tobin. All right, we're a couple minutes away from a pivotal game number 5. Let's go take a look at the rotations for both teams, see what they drafted. For the Alexandria Dukes, they went with Ken Hill, who's 4-2, Bob Carruthers, who's 4-2, Chris Paddock, who's 4-2, and then Pasquale, 2 wins, 2 losses, and having a really good performance is their number 5 pitcher, Jim Tobin. In the bullpen, they got Bob Miller, who has not given up an earned run in the tournament. He has 8 saves so far. We've got Zabel, Cumberland, Hiller, Williams, and Wunsch. And by the way, Minerva, if you're still sticking around, thank you so much for the raid. It kind of came through just as I was doing the commercial break there. Not Minerva, Nershabenko. Minerva. One day Minerva will be streaming. Nershabenko, thank you so much for the raid. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, I guess. I'm pretty sure you stream before I stream on Mondays. So thanks for bringing the crew over. All right, let's go take a look at the Scooties. Well, Alex Cobb is having a tournament. I don't think any of you would bet on a 35-year-old live card to be 5-0. I mean, his ERA kind of sucks. So he's getting some breaks. His team is scoring some runs when he's pitching. But yeah, he is 5-0. Amazing. Jack Quinn is 5-1. That would I would expect more. So he's 5-1 with a 2.68 ERA. Bryce Miller, Wilson Alvarez, and John Means. In the bullpen, they've got one of the best bullpen guys in this tournament, Hasagawa. Hasagawa with 9 saves in the tournament, 2.31 ERA. Lighten it up. Kevin Wickender, Joe La Sorsa, yeah. We got Johnny Brito, Jordan Hicks, and Cooper Criswell in the bullpen for the Scooties. So game number 5 in this seesaw matchup. First 2 games went to the Scooties. Second 2 games go to the Dukes. And we are about to check in on game number 5 in moments time. Reminder, I am back on tomorrow about 1 p.m. Eastern. I've got some exciting OOTP news for you guys. We're going to do a wrap-up of the week. We'll take a look at the PTCS and take a look how my teams did. We'll do the Hound Wheel of Destiny theme team where we'll spin the wheel and a few of you will captain my team and choose some players. They didn't do too bad for considering the team that we have. A bunch of players that all depend on a wheel spin to make up the team. Thanks for joining in. If you got the game on and you're collecting your drops, This may be the last chance to collect your affiliate drops because I don't think there are any other affiliates coming on tonight. Maybe Ezra. Let me check. Let me look at my schedule of Ezra streams on Sundays. I don't think he does. No. Sometimes the Bowl League official stream their online league. And again, DishNet will be coming up with perfect official drops very soon, probably within the next half hour. All right. I do not want to draft. What are you doing, Lap? You don't want to draft. Not yet. My team for tomorrow. Okay, game number 5 is in. Let's take a peek together. Will it be the Dukes going up 3-2, or will the Scooties rebound after losing 2 in a row? We have game 5. Actually, can I call this game 5 and game 6? We might be going 8. We might have an 8-game series here, folks, because this pretty much was game 5 and 6 in a pivotal matchup where the winner's going to get 2 high diamond choice packs. The Scotia Scooties score 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th to tie it after being down 5-1. Talk about exciting if you're the Scooties. 4 in the bottom of the 9th to tie it. Well, you know, we gotta give some love to the Scooties here. I mean, it's not every day you do that. Well, maybe it is with OOTP, but go with me on this one. So they're down 5-1. Bob Carruthers is looking for a complete game. Nick Franklin singles. Kenji doubles. We got runners at second and third. There's a fly out and the run doesn't score. So 1 out, 2 on. Ryan Sweeney walks. He will load the bases. Bob Miller comes in and Chad Pinder will double, scoring a couple runs. They're down by 2 with 1 out. So we have a runner on second and third. Pinder and Sweeney are on the base pass. Morgan Ensberg comes up and he will double in the 2 tying runs. They could have won it. Perdomo will strike out. Phillips will strike out. So we go to the 10th. Nothing scored in the 10th. In the 11th, nothing. In the 12th, still 5 apiece. We go to 13. Neither team can get anything going. And in the 14th, tied at 5. In the 15th, still tied at 5. And the marathon keeps on going. In the 16th, the Dukes start off by getting a double by Ivan Calderon. A Cabrera single will move Calderon to third. They load the bases when Hank Blaylock walks. They got the bases loaded with no one out. And you would think the Dukes are going to win this. La Sorsa in pitching for the Scooties, just having a horrible 16th inning. Willie Stargell, fielder's choice. They come home, get the out at home. Bud Harrelson, fielder's choice. They come home and get the runner at home 2 plays in a row. Reggie Willits, singles. Blaylock will score. Stargell will score. And it's 7-5 going to the bottom of the 16th. Game over, right? Perdomo singles. Brett Phillips triples him home. Benji Gill doubles the tying run in. And with Phillips on second, Kenji will single. Estella will ground out. And La Sorsa on an error. Benji Gill will score. What a game 5 for the Scooties. And Brydev, you got the bad roll of the dice on this one. Twice you had a chance to win it. In the 9th, in the 16th, and those Scooties come back. So now you're gonna have to win it in 7. Player of the game, Morgan Ensberg for who's got Ensberg? The Dukes, right? Do they have Ensberg? So many players here. It's like an all-star game. So many substitutions. No, Ensberg is for the Scooties. So first baseman Phil Clark, I believe a new card, and Brett Phillips, 7 at bats each, but that's nothing compared to Bobby Estalella, who is usually pretty good. I mean, look at his 3 pins up here. He was MVP of round 1, round 2, and the semis, but the Scooties got an 0 for 8 out of him. In fact, he is 0 for 13. 8, 9, 10. He is 1 for 14. Bobby Estalella. That is very un-Bobby Estalella-like. But the generation's coming up to him because he's still hitting 347. Can you imagine a guy going 1 for 14 and he's still hitting 347? Up until that point, he was hitting 402. Who is he, Ty Cobb? What's up with that? So Bobby Estalella, 8 at bats for Alexandria, 8 at bats for Willie Stargell, who would go 3 for 8, 2 home runs and 2 RBIs. So Willie did his part for the Dukes. And pitching wise, 16 innings, each threw in 6 pitchers. So that is now it's attrition. We look at the Dukes lineup. They've got Ken Hill. Their ace is the only fully rested guy. They got a few guys in the 90s, but they're not in as bad a shape as I thought they might be. And for the Scooties, they're in as bad shape as I thought they would be. They got their number 2 guy, Jack Quinn. He's ready to go 100%. 75 stamina, though. I don't think he'll get through the whole game. And then they got Johnny Brito at 90%. So good news, bad news for the Dukes. Bad news is they're 1 game away from being eliminated. The good news is if they can get it done in game number 6 with their ace, they should have an easy time in game 7 because that pitching staff is going to be worn out for the Scooties. Go take a look at the hitters. How tired are they? Scooties again are in trouble. So Brydav, that works in your favor. And for the Dukes, not as bad. You got a tired Evan Gaddis at 50%, Ivan Calderon at 44. What do? Do you rest them in an elimination game? Do you get them rested up for game 7? Interesting call. You have to do some micromanaging because if you use them in game 6, they are not going to be ready for they're going to be dead tired in game 7. Wow. Okay, we are mere seconds away from game number 6 coming in. It is an elimination game, so we will look at the highlights. Exactly, Dark Horse. The stamina in 1985 is actually a lot better than modern era. So you can have a guy pitch probably an extra 2 innings in 1985 than he would normally pitch. Okay. Here is a recap if you're just coming in for the Laptop Daily on this February the 11th between the Alexandria Dukes and the Scotia Scooties. Scooties win game 1 and 2. Dukes take game 3 and 4. And then in a 16th inning comeback, the Scooties will take game number 5, 8-7. All right, we don't want to spoil anything here, so we're going to put up the splash screen again here. I will exit out of the game. Any football update scores? Must be really early. They must have kicked off by now. Where are we here? Okay, go into the game. Game is being a little bit slow right now. Everyone's watching the big game on the internet. using up all the bandwidth. Come on. We need some OOTP bandwidth. There we go. We're back. And I'm predicting a Kansas City win late fourth quarter. Okay, game number 6 is in. Let's watch it together and find out if the tournament is over or if we go to a game number 7. No spoilers. We are coming to you from the Great American Ballpark, which again is the home ballpark chosen for today's specific tournament. In this tournament, ballparks rotate, so you never know. It's a random ballpark, but it's always the 1985 environment, and it will remain that way. We're playing with the Dukes and home field advantage. Ken Hill on the mound, and oh no, Dukes give up a sky shot over the Cincinnati Red sign, and the first hitter of the game, his third home run of the playoff. Mr. Mondesi gives the Scooties a 1-0 lead. Well, Ken Hill, who is the number 1 pitcher for the Dukes, is in a little bit of a pickle here. Pinder on first, Sweeney on third, and Ryan Kreidler at the plate. Kreidler over to third, back to second, back to first, and the Dukes escape a huge inning, getting the double play. Always hate it when the same team keeps on batting, but here we are, top of the second, no one out, one on for Nick Franklin. Franklin golfs that one into the gap there near the car rental sign. Car rental, 1-800-CARS are us. Tell them Nick Franklin sent you. Save 10% on your next SUV. With the double, and we have runners on second and third. Brett Phillips at the plate. No one out. Phillips, he drives the ball to the MLB sign. That's going to score 1. Here comes the second. And in the second inning, don't look now, the Scooties have a 4-1 lead. The Dukes threatening again. The Dukes have 1 run in already in the bottom of the 4th. Randy Velarde on first, Larry Rosenthal on second, Bud Harrelson at the plate with 2 outs and a 1-ball count. Little squibber in front of the mound. Pitcher holds on and cannot get Harrelson at first. We have the bases loaded. The Dukes need a run here. If the Dukes cannot score here, it may be over. Yes, it's early, but they got to take advantage of these chances. Catcher Chris Cannizzaro at the plate. Cannizzaro, perfectly played by the first baseman who was guarding the line, and that's going to be 3rd out of the inning. We jump all the way to the top of 9. 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Scooties. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Dukes. Scooties batting. Ken Hill still in the game. Pinder singles leading off the 8th inning. 1 on. Quinn in the bottom of the 8th. Walks. Dukes again starting a little bit of a rally here late in the game. 1 on, nobody out for Reggie Willits hitting against Quinn. He swings at a ball outside. They get the fielder's choice, and it's 1 away. Willits, that was ball 3. Bad choice to swing there. Nothing for the Dukes in the bottom of the 8th, and we jump ahead to the top of the 9th inning. Stan Williams now in the game. Nick Franklin at the plate. Franklin, high, deep, and long. That goes into the 2nd row. Congratulations, little boy, on catching that Nick Franklin 388-foot bomb. And just like that, it is 5-1. You know what this means? Anytime the game takes you to the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs, it's not very good for the losing team. Rosenthal on second. Cooper Criswell not in a save situation, looking to kind of mop up this game for the Scooties. Will this be it? Bud Harrelson needs to get on base. Harrelson to third, over to first. And for the first time in the Laptophound Lower Level Leisure Lounge Daily, the Scotia Scooties will win the tournament. What a comeback. That pivotal Game 5, 16th inning showdown. And even though the Scooties were short of pitchers, they got lucky. They got to use their only rested pitcher. How far did he go? Well, they use 6 pitchers here. I am shocked that the Dukes, and if the Dukes somehow could have won this game, they would have crushed them Game 7. No doubt, they would have crushed them. I mean, look at the Scooties. I don't know. How are they more rested after Game 6? Weird. Hicks at 76%. Yeah. The only rested pitcher would have been a live iron. Bryce Miller would have had to go in game number 7. All right. Congratulations go out to the Scooties. They win the tournament. Again, big shout out to Brydav and his Dukes. They will get 3 points in the tournament. The Dick Shot Dugouts will claim 2 points. And the Minerva Run Chicago Skullheart will get, what are they called? The E-Hearts? They will get 1 point for finishing 4th. Thank you, guys. I'm going to take you over in the raid to Out of the Park Developments. They have started up their clock. They're going to be covering the World Series. Don't go anywhere. Let me get that set up. Have a wonderful Sunday. Catch you on the stream tomorrow. We'll see you next episode. Before I do that, we gotta show you who won the prediction contest. Again, didn't give you a lot of time. Not a lot of people were here at the beginning, but let's show you who won today's prediction contest. So the Scooties won in 6. So doesn't do much there. And then the final score in Game 6 was 6-1. So 7 runs were scored in a 6-1 match. 7 runs scored. So there we go. What will be the total runs scored? Scooties in 6, 7 runs. Congratulations goes out to Dark Horse _414 from Milwaukee. They are celebrating with the 5-pack win. Congratulations. Your name will go out with tomorrow's winners. So maybe 24 to 48 hours before you get that, Dark Horse. Congratulations. Okay, stay tuned now. Going to send you over to Out of the Park Developments.